There is no quarterback in the NFL that's won a playoff game. Daniel Jones has won a playoff game. There is no quarterback in the NFL that gets ripped more, and there's no empathy or no sympathy. Even on HBO's Hard Knocks. I mean, it was like anti-Daniel Jones. The Giants, Mara, the GM would talk about him. Daniel Jones was watching it. He's got a playoff win. Now, did the Giants reach to draft him at number 6? Yes. Is he overpaid currently in the NFL? Well, it's $40 million a year, not 55, but yeah. So yesterday there was a big scuffle. Lions, Giants at practice. And I got to be honest with you, Daniel Jones jumped right into the middle of it and was right there pushing back with everybody, and the coaches were like trying to pull the quarterback out. But I don't know. Maybe it's because, you know, he's getting paid more than he deserves. So what? So does the entire NFL. Maybe he went to Duke, easy to dislike, privileged school, or that he's a member of a team in New York. You know, that we tend to think of New York teams as getting too much free press. But nobody gets bashed more than Daniel Jones, and he's won a playoff game. And so I grew up, when I watched the Olympics, and I've had a ball watching the Olympics, so much patriotism, optimism. You know, the real stories aren't the ones people are talking about on Twitter. The real stories are Simone Biles, Katie Ledecky, these amazing women, Ukrainian athletes, Canadian athletes. It's just been wonderful. But, you know, the grifters are going to go to the negative. So, and talk about something they didn't know existed a month ago. But be that as it may, I grew up with baseball, football, basketball. There were box scores. And in gymnastics, when I watch it sometimes, I'm like, it's all subjective. I can't figure out the scoring. It's all subjective. I mean, I know if somebody falls off, one of the beams, it's bad news, but I can't tell. And that's one of the things that is kind of mystifying to me about the Olympics. You train all these years, you cross your fingers, you get the right judge. But I was thinking about how I grew up with box scores and facts. And, you know, you could look at numbers and data. And so it's interesting, as much as we bash Daniel Jones, yet for like 2 years, people in the same city defended Zach Wilson. Daniel Jones is much better than Zach Wilson. Kenny Pickett was supported for a year in Pittsburgh. Daniel Jones is much better than Kenny Pickett. And then there's Justin Fields, who Daniel Jones is absolutely better than as well. You think I'm wrong? This is not gymnastics. Let's go to numbers. This is not gymnastics. In every crucial category, without question, with a worse offensive line, PFF last 2 years ranks the Giants O-line as bad as any in the league, and with clearly fewer weapons. No DJ Moore, right? No DJ Moore on the outside. Daniel Jones has won over twice as many games, completes a significantly higher percentage of his passes, averages more yards a game, touchdown interception ratio is better, so is the passer rating, behind a significantly worse O-line with fewer weapons. Well, Brian Daboll, the head coach, is Matt Eberflus, the head coach. Both are on the hot seat. Both have not proven to be great head coaches. Both are very good on their side of the ball. The Bears, week 10 last year were the best defense in the league. Well, they didn't have the best defensive personnel. Eberflus can clearly, as a young coach, dial up his side of the ball. And Daboll's done an excellent job with Josh Allen and getting Daniel Jones into the playoffs. But they're both in a hot seat. Both we're not really sure. Daboll's got that fiery temper, off-putting to some. Eberflus has changed his look up, but is he over his head a little? They're both the same guy. We really don't know if they're going to last through the end of their contracts. We do not know. Both good their side of the ball. So also Daniel Jones actually has a playoff win. Justin Fields has never sniffed it. So it's interesting, as I watch the Olympics and so much is subjective, be very careful about being swayed by optics and aesthetics. Justin Fields looks to be better, but winning in this league is from the pocket, and he is an inaccurate thrower. Now, both guys are bad in the fourth quarter, but the difference is Daniel Jones is actually better there too. The other thing to remember, whereas in Daniel Jones' division, since he's been there, the Eagles have made a Super Bowl. The Cowboys have won 12 games multiple times. In Caleb Williams' division, they had to rebuild because Aaron Rodgers left. His first couple years, the Lions were a mess. And the Vikings are the Vikings. Oh, is okay. So just take this into consideration. But I watched Daniel Jones get in that fight yesterday, and I thought, God, does anybody say anything, including me, ever nice about this kid? Here they get into a fight, and he's jamming his head into it, and his teammates are pulling him off, and it's like, listen, I don't have a problem criticizing Daniel or Justin Fields, but it's amazing who we at least are optimistic about. I mean, Justin Fields, everybody's like, that guy deserves a second chance. Maybe Daniel Jones just deserves one day of support, even on HBO Max's Hard Knocks. They were mocking him, openly talking about his replacement, a college kid. Here was Daniel Jones yesterday about that scuffle. So again, not saying he's great, but I'm saying if Justin Fields has all these supporters, Daniel Jones is better in every crucial category. Maybe take a deep breath and I can give him a little support, little optimism this year. Speaking of optics, and a level of optimism or hype that maybe isn't deserved. Micah Parsons, apparently yesterday in practice, just discombobulated the Cowboys offense. And Micah Parsons says, I'm eating now. It's pretty much over. I'm in rhythm. I can single-handedly wreck the Cowboys offense. Really? Do you remember how dominating Micah Parsons was against the youngest playoff team since 1970, the Green Bay Packers? 2 total tackles, 0 sacks. He was invisible. He was also invisible mostly against Detroit, no sacks, and the Niners, no sacks and 2 pressures. Micah Parsons' 3 worst games of the year last year came against the 3 best teams he faced in the NFC, Detroit, San Francisco, and Green Bay. Didn't do squat. He's talented like Dak. He's not a savior. He's not as powerful as Myles Garrett. He's not as relentless as Bosa for the Niners or T.J. Watt for the Steelers. He's not. He's Aiden Hutchinson of the Lions, a very good player. The difference is he is sold to us like a legend, sort of like the quarterback for the Cowboys. Micah Parsons is productive, very good if you look it up against really bad teams and then disappears in January. Heard that before? His biggest sack game was against awful Carolina. In fact, half of his sacks came against Washington, the Jets, and Carolina. In 4 playoff games, 1 sack, and often invisible. Disappears in January. So today's opening in the herd is deep dive into the numbers with Micah Parsons against the best teams. Deep dive in the numbers about quarterbacks you bail on or support. This is not gymnastics. Numbers, box scores, data, completion percentages, sacks against better tackles. This stuff still matters. Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.